It is Sunday evening. I hop into my work email and there is a calendar invite from my manager that just says, Neha Andre Sync. And I'm like, this is sort of weird because he usually doesn't send me one off meetings. We have a reoccurring one on one. So this was super odd. And there was no context in the meeting. It was just sync. And it was for Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. My mind at this point is freaking out, and the rational side of me is saying, okay, Neha, relax, don't catastrophize, things are gonna be fine. I have trouble sleeping that night, and then at 8:25, I log into Teams, and just as I'm about to get into the meeting, I see that there is someone who is not on the calendar invite already in there, and so I hover over her name, and it says Senior HR Director. And at that point, I'm like, holy shit, Neha, like, you either have done something really wrong or you're getting laid off. At that point, I just clicked enter, and immediately my manager started reading from a script. He said, hello, we are sorry to inform you that your role has been terminated, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of people are curious about what it.
So I think most of the people have been wondering that why this much of layoffs have been happening. And at the same time, I'm feeling very bad to see a lot more posts, messages, and a lot more things that are maybe in LinkedIn or Twitter or in videos sharing about their layoffs, because layoffs have been affected their life, because most of the people believe that based on their job of living, and of course for IT people a lot more EMI options are being there. So this layoff has been heavily affected everyone. Do you all agree with that? Yes. So maybe it's a bitter time, but we want to understand what is the reason and what why these companies are doing this much of layoffs today. So, to understand the situation, let's understand the things better. So, during COVID, we all know that we got stuck very bad way. So, we all got stuck in home. So, the best thing that every companies gained during that time is they use that bad place or a bad time as their growth time. Yes, everywhere we move to this web world. Yes, we'll be buying things and we'll be watching over that. So the companies used it. So let's imagine Netflix. So everyone came to know what is Netflix, of course, during this pandemic. So the companies needed a lot more employees to balance their things and their efficient drastic growth happening during this pandemic times. So imagine Netflix, they need to add new features and options which includes AI and more things, right? So they hired a lot more employees. Not only Netflix, lot more companies hired more employees, and because the demand has increased, so they increase their hiring rate. But now the situation is reversed. We are getting into where we were before the pandemic, right? We're getting into a normal life. So the companies are facing the best thing, that is to balance their revenue. Yes, during this pandemic time, the companies spent a lot more money in establishing a physical setup in everyone's home, not only in everyone's home, but also in balancing everything, because their major most advantage is people are living in where they can do everything, and that is the most important time to make their marketing go down. So, and the next thing I can say, the first reason for this is the demand in pandemic time has been double, so they hired more. Now the demand is decreasing, so they are laying off employees. And the next major reason is at the time of pandemic, all the advertisers are ready to provide their advertisements through these digital platforms. Yes, that is a greatest revenue for every companies, big bank companies that is using this AdSense. So now the default decreasing in this advertisers coming up for advertisement kind of things, that is also one of the major reason for the down of revenue. So they try to get into the layoff. And another one major reason, that is the major setback, that is during this COVID period, there is one of the biggest fall for the economy, that is economical inflation rate. Yes, so our economy fall down than we expected before. So that was a bad thing. To balance this entire thing, it has been announced as a recession time. So recession time, in the sense, the World Bank, that is World Federal Reserve Bank, of US has announced one thing, that they, to balance this economic fall, they are going to increase the interest rate to balance everything. So but this interest rate might reflect in the growth of economy, but it deflected in people's life. That is, every companies have been depending on their investments, that is getting money for investments from banks. So that made them a critical time, that is to balance their revenue. So they think one thing, that is the major part of one company's revenue is to spend for the employees, right? So they cut down their employees. So this is the reason for this mass recession, that is mass laid off in every companies. So the fall and the decreasing demand and the decreasing advertisements have been the reason for this fall. And we can't say this situation will continue ever, so the situation will get normal. uh, it doesn't mean this layoff never says that the companies are shrinking or the companies are not growing now. The companies are growing, and this is the need of precising their company. Yes, to balance everything and to move on to the next step of technologies. That is why the layoffs are happening. So if you are being laid off, so nothing is to be worried. So believe in one thing, that is yourself. So make yourself much more stronger with the emerging technologies and give the next go. And thanks for watching. And this is Tech with Kriti. Stay tuned.